Welcome to episode 2 of Indy Only Fans. This week we're going to discuss the Pacers free agency moves. Starting this week, we're going to be basically discussing local Indiana sports, Colts, Pacers usually on the start. Then we're going to start a new segment today called the Indy Only Fans Burning Desires, where Jameson, Barry, and myself will discuss our burning desires for the week. And we're going to next pod will be more leaning towards football. We're going to start rolling into some gambling, some season totals, NFL stuff. But we wanted to cover and get the NBA squared away before we fully roll into football season. So without further ado, joining me today is brother Jameson.
Hello.
And back from a small sabbatical, welcome back, cousin Barry.
Guess who's back in the motherfucking house?
Barry's back. All right, so this week, kind of an exciting week for Indiana Pacer fans. I think the first thing we should talk about, because it is clearly now the foundation of our team, Tyrese Haliburton extension, 5 years. What do you boys think about that move?
I love it. I think it is really smart to do. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff out there about when you should extend somebody. There's a chance Haliburton, if he plays the way he played last year, plays 65 games, he has the potential to be All-NBA. If he made that, it would have cost us a lot more money. So I think doing the extension now is extremely good business by your best friend and man crush, Kevin Pritchard. So I love it. I mean, he in the article in the Indy Star talked about being a Midwest guy, loving Midwest people, wanted to live and stay and play in the Midwest. So he's tailor-made for the Pacers. I love every bit of it.
Barry, initial thoughts on the extension?
Oh, agreed, 100%. Pay that man his money.
No doubt.
It's due. It was no reason for him to be a distraction going into this season or any off season, and just get it done. We've talked repeatedly about the cap space and how some of those dollars are definitely earmarked for the Haliburton extension.
Yeah, it was kind of obvious, wasn't it? So like the guy said, it's a 5-year extension. So this year we still have him on a $5.8 million, I believe, will be what he's paid this year. But then the extension starts next year. It's for 5 years, and it's actually $205.9 million contract that escalates, I believe, as the salary cap goes up. So will his money, and my understanding is he has to make an All-NBA team. Is that your understanding too?
I think it's for next season if he makes All-NBA or first team, something along those lines, and he kicks in another 8 or 10 million.
Okay.
I think it's another like 40 million.
So kicks in that escalator clause, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, because I'm looking at it right now, and it's showing his base salary, for instance, in 24-25 is $35.5 million. Then it goes to 38, then 41, 44, 46. So basically what he gets is, I think, around 25% of the cap for our team is the way his salary structured. And then if he makes an All-NBA team, it kicks in, what I want to say it's called the Derrick Rose clause, where it starts escalating up even more, which is where that $260 million number is coming from. But that's all numbers. Who cares? I'm more interested in like how it makes me feel. Like
Tingly.
so tingly. How does it make you feel though? Like as a Pacer fan, what are your feelings on it? Get emotional.
Yeah. Yes. I'm not sure I'm that emotional. I'm pretty pumped though because just in the glimpses we've seen, he's going to be a phenomenal player. We need him to stay healthy. I mean, best player we've had since Paul George, easily. The nice thing about him is he's not like a dominant scorer. He can score when he needs to, but he's also a distributor. He's the guy that makes everyone better. So you want that guy that makes everyone better, and he's got a ton of room to improve still. He's that good with room to improve.
Right.
I love him. He shoots the ball well.
Right.
There's nothing that he doesn't have a glaring weakness. So
right.
I think he's a great player for us.
Right. Barry, any thoughts?
Makes me feel safe. It's nice to know we're going to be locked and loaded for the next 6 years, basically, this year, and then the 5 with the contract.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason that guy should not be. I mean, we've seen his floor, so and his floor is good enough to be one of the best in the NBA. If his ceiling's even a little bit higher, then it should be kind of simple to build around him, which on paper looks like it's happening already.
Right. Yeah, I think safe is a good word for it. I mean, I think when I say the way he makes me feel, I just remember like last year when he was healthy and playing, you'd go to games and like I just was excited to watch the dude play, man. He's probably the most fun pacer that we've had, right, like Jameson said, since Paul George, but Paul George wasn't even really that kind of player. You know?
Paul George was not fun.
No, like that.
Not towards the end there. It was just frustrating and
good.
Ugly.
Yeah. Haliburton's not only good, but he's like just enjoyable. I've heard
He's
a lot
good
of
guy.
national guys talk about how like the Pacers are definitely going to be one of their league pass teams this year. We're gonna be fun. So yeah, Haliburton clearly. What did Pritchard say? He said it was Ty's our guy and it was simple, or how did he phrase it?
It wasn't going to be complicated.
Yeah, it's not complicated, right? Lock him up. All right. So Haliburton. So who are we putting around him is the question, and so two new guys to the roster. Bruce Brown. What are your guys' initial thoughts on Bruce Brown?
I like Bruce Brown. He's another guy we've talked about. We kind of lack defensively. He's a guy that plays really, really good defense. Obviously, he was really good on the Denver Nuggets, but I think Jokic makes a lot of people look really, really good. The question is he going to be that good for us?
Yeah.
I think Haliburton's similar to Jokic, the way he gets people involved in the game.
True.
But, I mean, $20 million, did we overpay for Bruce Brown? A little bit, but it's Indianapolis. You got to pay a little bit to get people to come here sometimes.
That's a fact.
It's a one-year deal, essentially. We have the option for a second if we need it.
It's our option too, right?
Right. It's team option, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, with the other people we brought in, it looks like they had a clear focus on getting better defensively, also getting bigger size-wise, not just like length, but physically bigger. Like we have some big guys now,
Right.
Which last year our bigs probably weighed less than me, which is a problem. So I love it. I love it defensively. He's a guy, again, that doesn't have like a glaring weakness. He could do a lot of different things really well, doesn't do anything amazing, but he'll make us better. So that's what you're looking for in free agency.
Yeah. We should have got the Tommy Tatro Denver Nuggets super fan perspective on Bruce Brown, eh?
Yeah, I texted him right after it happened, so
What did he say?
I don't recall exactly. Basically, we got a good one. Good for the Pacers, bad for the Nuggets.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know much about him, or just what you've seen on the highlights and on ESPN so far?
Just what I've read, what
Yeah.
I've seen. He's a plug-and-play guy. If you need minutes at the 4, he could small ball and play minutes at the 4. He could swing over, and, I mean, if you're playing the 2, it's who you can guard, right?
Right.
You're not slotted offensively at the 2, 3, or 4. Who can you guard? He can guard a 2, 3, or a 4.
I
So
do
he can play
believe
minutes anywhere.
he is right now, as the roster stands, the highest paid player on the Pacers.
Yeah, a little bit ahead of Miles now.
Yeah, he's like $23 million this year, and Miles is what, 22 or something?
I don't see any way Pacers would not pick up that second-year option, but
He makes $1 million more than Miles Turner.
Right.
and think of that. Both of those are expiring contracts the season after this one. We have $50 million coming off the books.
Yeah.
Trade pieces, see how this next 2 years works out. If it doesn't, assets out the ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's just Pritchard, and that's on my notes here, is to have a Pritchard ass-kissing session, so we can just start that early. Like, he's really kind of tailored this roster to be good this year, but also it feels like a roster and it's structured in a way, and the money's in a way that we could adjust quickly on the move if we needed to.
Very, very, very flexible.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got $28 million coming off the books this year, and potentially $70 million in a couple of years.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, that's, sure. I mean, we'll, of course, re-sign some of the guys that are coming off the books, but
Right.
there's still cap space everywhere. There's expiring contracts to trade if needed. Or, hell, maybe this current roster works out. And
Right.
how much are we going to pay these guys to keep them around?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just flexible. Okay, so the last podcast we did was on the draft, and in that draft, we swapped places with the Washington Wizards, which ended up netting us Jarris Walker, which is who we all wanted, right?
Right.
But we also got 2 second-round picks in that swap. So, fast forward to free agency, we trade the Knicks 2 second-round picks for Obi Toppin. So I guess the way I look at it is essentially we got Jarris Walker and Obi Toppin in this year's draft.
That's what I wrote down in my notes.
Did you?
That I just circled.
Yeah.
2 second-round picks for Obi Toppin.
Right. I mean, shall we just kiss Pritchard's ass some more? That's pretty freaking savvy, man.
It gave up nothing to get Obi Toppin.
Then we swapped Duarte for, what's the guy's name? Howard from
Duarte for who?
Belmont. We drafted the other kid.
Oh, yes, yeah. Ben
Howard? Is it or Ben Shepard?
Ben Shepard
from Belmont.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as a roster standpoint, yeah. So we got Shepard instead of Duarte, Bruce Brown instead of Duarte.
Right.
And then Obi Toppin comes in as well. So Brissett leaves. So let's talk about first of all, anything else you want to say about Obi Toppin? Like I've went back and watched some highlights and just read some articles about him, and it just seems like he was buried mainly because of Thibodeau. And, Thibodeau has usually a very small rotation, plays 7 or 8 players, plays guys a lot of minutes, and it seems like he was only getting 14 or 15 minutes a game.
He was the number 8 pick in the draft. I mean, and that was only like 2 years ago. So clearly has talent. We talked about we needed power forwards or small forwards. So basically out of the draft and free agency, we got 2 power forwards and a small forward, and two good power forwards and a really good small forward. We got bigger. We got more defensive. Obi Toppin can jump out of the gym.
Yes, he can.
He's got sick lift. He had some nasty dunks against the Pacers last year. But yeah, Thibodeau is – some guys leave Thibodeau and they become really good because he doesn't play him. He doesn't have faith in him. He has a very stringent system. There's not a lot of creativity. And Jalen Brunson is good, but does he get people involved like Haliburton would?
No.
I know Haliburton was pumped to get Obi Toppin.
Yeah. Can you imagine the lobs and the dunks we're going to see?
Yeah, there's going to be some nasty dunks. That'll be well worth it. So I'm excited. I mean, we needed to get bigger. We need to get stronger. I think Toppin and Walker do that. So to get both of those in 1 year at a combined, that's going to be about $12 million for both of them.
Sick.
Decent.
Barry, do you feel like for the listeners, Barry and I are Pacers season ticket holders, and seems like every year Barry adopts a I'm gonna air quoting tough love candidate. Who do you feel like I don't know why, but I feel like Obi Toppin might be heading the candidacy for the tough love candidate this year.
It's possible. I mean, it's
too
TBD.
new?
He's too new.
Yeah. So that's usually for a second year guy, though, isn't it? You got any candidates for that this year? Or?
Nimbahard?
No, they're all candidates. I mean,
that's
we're
true.
gonna wait to see how
right.
the next few months go here. But I mean,
yeah, I can't wait to bring in some of our superstitions and ridiculous nonsense that we like to weave into our fandom throughout the year here on the pod. Okay, so let's talk about just the lost gain comparison of the roster. So, and your thoughts on it. I feel like we got a lot better, man. I mean, just these little subtle moves. So what I've got written down here is Brissett and Duarte gone, Brown and Toppin in. What are your thoughts just on those 2 spots flip-flopping?
it's a push at worst, and it's almost guaranteed to be better.
Yeah. I mean, ceiling's higher, right?
Yeah, I mean, you throw in Jarris Walker and Ben Shepard at the end of that mix, and all you lost was Duarte and Brissett.
Yeah.
You gave up absolutely nothing for those 4 spots, except for Duarte and Brissett. But
right. Yeah. Do you think we gave up on Duarte too soon?
No. I mean, he is what he is, and he's another wing on a team full of wings. So he was redundant on the Pacers, and I mean, I think his trade was basically to free up that cap space to bring in Obi Toppin. And now you have two potential. I mean, he's a lottery pick. Jarris Walker's a lottery pick. You have two lottery picks
Right.
at the 4 to just need one of them to work out, right?
Right. Jameson has the Kings trade actually gone through yet? I haven't seen it.
I don't think anything goes through until July 10th, if I'm not mistaken.
Have you seen the details of it though?
No, I have not.
I haven't either. Barry, have you seen them?
No,
I don't think they're out there.
I've been looking. I don't think we're getting anything for Duarte. I think it was a salary dump.
I think
Yeah, we're
it's
just
a
basically-
second round pick.
if that.
Well, it said draft considerations.
Right.
Right.
So we get a second round pick.
I
in
mean,
2027.
hopefully we're not giving them.
We might be giving him a second round pick to take
him.
Duarte's salary, so
Yeah.
we could bring in Toppin.
Yeah.
And if it's a second rounder, it's a second rounder. So be it. We're flush with them.
Mhm.
Although we just traded 2 for Toppin. But
I was listening to another podcast that some guys talking about the Pacers, and they were talking about how Duarte's best numbers by far was when Sabonis was on the floor. So him and Sabonis really clicked together. I didn't realize, but Duarte's first language is Spanish, and Sabonis speaks Spanish. So they were saying that they potentially thought that was that him and Sabonis were able to communicate really well. So him going to the Kings maybe was Sabonis telling management there, hey, this kid's tough, this kid's good, bring him in, All right, let's see what else. Any other? Let's let me hear your thoughts on Pritchard. This just the off season as a whole. How do you feel like he's done the Pacers and go? And do you think he's done?
well, I think he's done.
I don't think they are. I mean, their roster is deep, real deep. And
We're 14 or 15 deep.
right, and you have pieces to make a trade, and you don't have any massive salary in there, right? Our highest paid, like you said, that our 3 highest paid players, 21 million, 20 million, 18 million.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no like massive salary, and you've got a lot of tradable pieces. I mean, you got McConnell, who's making almost
know.
$9 million.
There's teams that would love to have him.
Yeah,
I hate to see him buried on the bench too.
the trade I heard that definitely would interest me was the Miles Turner, T.J. McConnell for Ayton.
Yeah.
Like,
Thoughts on that?
I would like it. I'm not gonna lie, I would like it. Ayton with Haliburton, because when Ayton was good, it was when Chris Paul was dealing.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Haliburton, who very similar, can get a big man involved.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about lobs again. Plus, we have floor spacers with Buddy Hield. Bruce Brown can shoot the ball.
Is he a better rebounder than Miles?
I think I'm a better rebounder than Miles.
Easy.
But,
Easy round
he doesn't,
mound.
He doesn't block.
You do have a big
shots.
ass.
I do have a large rebounding badonk.
Yeah.
He doesn't block shots like Miles Turner, but he definitely rebounds better. He's just a more polished center.
Barry, who would you rather have?
Miles Turner.
Me too. I really would. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if we got Ayton. I would learn. Obviously, within a week, I'd be on here saying, "Yeah, good deal, good thing," But like as we sit right now today, I'd rather have Miles Turner. The rim protection, like I just feel like when people come into the paint, like he's nasty, man. And if he stays healthy, he could lead the league in blocks.
There's the problem.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but does it? I
That's
don't
about
know.
everybody,
Ayton, does
though.
Ayton stay healthy? He does, doesn't he?
He
Or at least
does.
so far.
I think he was injured a
Yeah.
little bit last year, but he predominantly is in the lineup more than Miles.
I'm not gonna lie. I've won a little bit of money parlaying Miles's over 2.5 blocks last year.
Nailed
With a Haliburton points, rebounds, assists with Miles Turner over on blocks. I think I'm positive on that combo. But yeah, I'd rather have Miles. Barry, Miles, what's your vote? You'd rather have Ayton?
I'm trying to find Ayton's salary.
Yeah, he just got re-up. Remember, because we
I'm
forced
sure
him.
it matches. I mean,
Yeah, we
re-up
paid.
Miles
We offered
instead
him
of
$200 million, right?
I think he makes about 30, doesn't he?
Yeah, he makes a lot of money. I know that. Yeah, I mean, Turner shoots better from the outside. So Turner can shoot threes. Turner blocks shots better. I don't know. I just feel like Ayton's more stable than Turner, in my opinion. I love Turner. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah, I'm for the first time in a lot of seasons going into the new year, I think I'd rather have him than get rid of him, which is a nice change. Like he's mature now. He's somewhat, in a weird way, reliable now. It just mainly, like, I love the rim protection. That's probably my favorite thing about him.
Right. 32.5 for Ayton.
32.5.
Which would match Miles Turner plus T.J. McConnell.
Correct.
Ooh, yeah. That is a perfect,
Yeah, because then you get Nimba to play more,
yeah.
which I think I would rather Nimba at this point get minutes than T.J. McConnell.
So let's, all right, we all agree. Let's go through the starting lineup real quick. What you would project it to be if the season started today. I think we all agree. Haliburton at the point. Any disagreement there?
No.
Yes, I would like to disagree with that, Dan.
Yeah. Okay, who's starting at the shooting guard? This is where it gets.
Buddy Hield.
You think Buddy goes in, eh?
Yes.
Okay.
Agree.
Who starts at the 3?
Ben.
Ben Matherin.
Correct.
Okay.
I think Bruce Brown starts with Matherin coming off the bench again.
Yeah. See, there's the problem is that,
Problem?
well,
That's a high-class problem.
yeah, rich people problems.
First world.
One of the 3, Matherin, Brown, and Buddy Hield, is gonna be sitting on the bench.
Buddy needs to start because just if nothing else to showcase the guy. I mean, if we're up at the top of the East with Buddy Hield, just roll with it. If not, if we need to trade the guy at the trade deadline, then but you want that guy in the starting lineup shooting those threes.
He's our best 3-point shooter. He's one of the league's best 3-point shooters.
Yeah, and I don't think you put Buddy Hield on the bench. He's earned that starting.
You don't back Buddy in a
And-
corner.
Nobody puts Buddy in a corner.
I mean, Bruce Brown is, he was paid as a backup. So, I mean, you bring him in as your, hey,
You think
2
he's
or
going
3 or
to
4.
accept the? I guess
That's
give
what he
me
was in
23
Denver.
million. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
accept coming sick. He was 6th man in Denver, right?
Yeah.
Really great at it.
To come in and get minutes at the 2, 3, or 4 when you need it. I mean,
Yeah.
if there's an injury in one of those
Yeah.
spots, then he's your starter.
So, but week 1, Tyrese, Buddy, Matherin, and then who we plugging in at the 4? Obi
Toppin.
Toppin. Agree, Barry? Or are you switching that up too? You putting Neesmith in or Walker's too? Walker will be like, I could see Coach treating Walker like he did Matherin last year, right?
Well, I mean, it depends on summer camp and preseason. And, I mean, I think the 4 is up for grabs at this point between Obi and Walker.
Isn't Carlisle notorious for making rookies kind of really, really earn their playing time?
Slow dripping him.
Yeah.
Maybe previously at Dallas, but
Yeah.
he's got kind of no choice here in Indiana right now.
True. I guess if Jarris Walker proves to be just head and shoulders better talent than Obi, he'll start. But I think week 1, Obi starts, I would guess, right? And then Miles at the 5. So it's a nasty starting lineup. And so even more nasty than if you have that starting lineup, your bench is Nemhard, Bruce Brown, Neesmith, Jarris Walker, Jalen Smith, Sticks. Then that's your second unit. Then your bench, McConnell, Ben Shepherd, Jordan Nwora, Isaiah Jackson, Daniel Tice. Like, that is so deep.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
It really does. But do we say that every year? Am I just caught up in the OnlyFans fandom? I think that's a nasty deep roster. Just so versatile. Like, it's going to be fun to see what kind of rotations Carlisle comes up with.
Yeah, we have just a lot of options to play different ways too, and it's you have good shooters, you have good point guards. Still a little thin at the center. I mean, we have one center, Miles Turner. I think Obi Toppin plays. If he doesn't start, then I think he comes off the bench, plays center in a
Jackson,
small ball lineup.
Yeah.
Isaiah Jackson,
Daniel Tice too. And what do you consider Jalen Smith?
He's a 4.
You think?
he's a 4, but
I mean, put
I
Jalen Smith and Isaiah Jackson
consider him
together, you
a
got 1-4 and you got 1-5.
4
somehow,
Wayne
some way.
Mad Ant.
Noblesville Mad Ant.
Yeah, my bad. Noblesville Mad Ant. That's what I consider Isaiah Jackson. Until he gets bigger. Like, he's just too thin. He just
Yeah.
gets bullied, doesn't rebound well enough.
He's a hell of a rim protector too. If you go back and kind of look at the stats. All right.
He's also great on that alley-oop.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
We have Shibwe as a two-way player too.
That's a crazy that we signed undrafted Oscar Sheboy.
Agree that because he was the player of the year in the NCAA 2 years ago, undrafted, and he's a small ball center. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes it over Isaiah Jackson.
Who's the Barry? We were talking the other day about the ACC Player of the Year. What's that kid's name? He played for Miami.
Isaiah Wong.
Yeah. Do you think he'll be our other two-way, or is there someone else?
No, it's those two.
It's those two for
Is
sure.
there two ways?
There's two two-ways.
two two-ways.
Sheboy and
Oh,
Isaiah
poor
Wong.
Kendall Brown. Kendall Brown's gonna get my boy Kendall Brown from the last draft.
Mm-hmm. He gone. All right. What else? Any other roster points you want to make? Anyone? Bueller?
None for me.
Barry?
Oh, not specifically about the roster, no.
Okay. Well, let's take a break then and come back and wrap that up and start talking about some Indy OnlyFans burning desires. All right, welcome back. Jameson gets to lead off the inaugural Indy OnlyFans burning desires segment. Jameson, what do you want to talk about today? What's your
My
burning desire?
Burning desire. My burning desire, obviously, is always going to be the soccer.
Yes.
As you know, I've played soccer, coached soccer, love soccer. It's my favorite sport.
Mine too.
I am a diehard Liverpool fan. Have been for a long time. One of my best friends in high school was an English kid, Tony Bishop. What up?
Shout out to Tony Bishop.
Cheers,
The
mate.
English kid.
Aye. But yeah, I'm always excited for it. We're less than 6 weeks away now. August 11th is the kickoff. Liverpool plays August 13th against Chelsea. So pretty pumped about the season. Liverpool struggled last year.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't stop anybody in the middle of the park.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody would go right through their midfield, basically like it wasn't there.
Struggling for Liverpool is finishing fifth on the table,
Yes,
by the way.
that was a struggle.
Right.
I mean, they still had world-class forwards. Defensively, they struggled to start the year. Their last 13 games, they were on fire. If they had the middle part of the season, if they did anything, they would have finished in the top four, but they just were awful.
Mm-hmm.
But two midfielders, Alex McAllister, the Irish-Argentinian World Cup champion, pretty pumped about him.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dominic Szoboszlai, the Hungarian nightmare.
That's easy for you to say.
Yes, Szoboszlai. So pretty happy about that. I think they are in line to get one more midfielder and hopefully one more center back, and that should push Liverpool back into the top four, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
The EPL, though, is a gauntlet. So much money involved in that league now between all the Saudis and Qataris and UAE own, I think each of them own a team at this point, and the amount of money they dump in there. See Manchester City and their 120 financial fair play violations that they're still on trial for.
Hey, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Amen. But yeah, so I'm excited because I love to watch it. I love to watch it, especially when my team's winning. So that's my burning desire.
Can you explain for the OnlyFans listeners who are mainly football and basketball people why it's important to finish in the top four of the standings every year in the EPL?
Yes, if you finish in the top four in the EPL, you do go into the Champions League, the UEFA, so Europe's Champions League, which consists of 32 teams, top four in England, top four in Spain, top four in Italy, top four in Germany. Then you'll get some random countries, that some countries have to qualify in. There's some play-in to get into that round of 32. But the amount of money you win in the Champions League is obscene.
It's really the most coveted trophy in all of soccer, no? Other than the
World
World
Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Club-wise.
Club-wise, it is far and away the most coveted trophy. Like, most guys will only sign for clubs if they're in the Champions League. That's why Liverpool's not in it next year. The fact that they were able to sign the two guys they signed without Champions League football is pretty impressive, but that's because of their coach, Jurgen. Yeah.
If you're fifth, you get to play in the league that's just below that.
Europa.
Yeah. Yay!
Yeah, the Europa League.
Right.
And if you finish below that, you get to go to the Europa Conference League, which is even dumber.
Yeah.
It's all a money grab, but the Champions League is so fun to watch. Someday I'm going to get over there and watch some Champions
That
League
would be
games.
badass.
Yeah.
Man City, as Jameson pointed out, big money spenders. They did, in fact, win the UEFA Champions League last year.
First time ever for them.
Yeah, but they're off the schneid. They have a Champions League trophy now.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they let their foot off the gas at this point a little bit. I think their roster is far and away too talented to even let up a little bit. I mean, between De Bruyne is going to be out for a huge chunk of the year.
Why?
In the Champions League final, he tore his hamstring.
Oh God.
So bad. Like I was listening to them talk about how bad that hamstring tear was, and it's going to keep him out for like 6 months, which we'll get into the season. And
Kevin De Bruyne.
Missing De Bruyne is a big deal.
Yeah.
They still have the big Norwegian Viking Erling Haaland. Yeah,
He is far and away my favorite player in the world right now. I love
Gross.
him. What's that?
Gross.
I thought Barry said that. I'm like, Barry, get in there, kid.
Yep.
Get in here about the soccer, B-Ray. We're gonna have to get Barry watching. He's gonna have to pick a team and just watch.
Did
Does that
Holland set
require
a
you
record?
get up like at 6 a.m. to watch the
No, some of
the
them.
recent
The
matches?
best games are on at noon. So 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. or noon is usually when the best teams are playing.
Who's broadcasting EPL in the States next year?
NBC.
Nice. Chelsea finished. Chelsea was my team through the years. I'm a very loose EPL follower. I liked Chelsea back in the day, basically because of Didier Drogba. I just thought he was amazing. But now, not so attached to Chelsea. I'm more kind of like a lot of kids these days with NBA. I'm more a player guy now. Like I love Holland. I love Mo Salah. I like De Bruyne too. So it's a who's the Arsenal kid from Brazil? Martinelli.
Yep.
Like Martinelli a lot, and a lot of my passions and favorite players come through collecting soccer cards too. So yeah, those are the hot cards and the hot guys. So
Jude Bellingham.
yeah, Jude Bellingham, he's a beast.
Yeah.
Who's he play for now?
He is now on Real Madrid.
Is he?
Yeah.
Nice. So I saw this week Aronson he was on Leeds. Can you explain to the people what happens when you finish in the bottom 3 of the Champions League each year?
Well, not in the Champions League, but the bottom 3 of the EPL are then get relegated down a league. So the bottom 3 drop down to what is called the Championship, and then the 3 Championship teams will get promoted up into the Premier League. The winner is an automatic promotion. Second, I think, is an automatic promotion, and then they have a playoff between 4 teams to get that 3rd spot. And again, if you get promoted into the Premier League, the money,
Big deal.
yeah, it is a huge financial gain.
Mhm.
Anybody watch the Wrexham stuff?
Yeah.
Them getting out of that 5th tier league was a massive financial
Yeah.
win. So they're now in the 4th league.
Mhm.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So one of Amanda's boyfriend, one of our friends, his team, for instance, Everton, so passionate about him. Like you talk to him about it, and he almost is in tears about them potentially getting relegated. They finished 17th, just above the cut line this year. Congratulations, Daniel. Everton survives one more time.
Yeah, they got by on the very last day. I think they scored.
Last year too, right?
Yeah, it's a couple of years now where they've been flirting, but I think they scored in the last 30 minutes on the last day.
Oh,
that
man.
pretty much kept them up, which is really about a $50 to $100 million goal if you really want to stop and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
We
Nice.
need to add 6 teams to our fantasy football league and do some relegation.
Oh my God, what a
Be
great
amazing.
idea.
That would be awesome. 12-team league with a 8-team relegated league.
Jesus, you might have stumbled across something there, pal.
I brought this up. It's probably been 10, 12, 15 years ago when we had a line out the door for people that wanted to join this league.
Relegation is just such a great thing, in my opinion, like for sports. You can never do it here in the States because the money's too large and the franchises and what have you, but it's so great. It makes things so interesting in the soccer world over in Europe and such. But
Yeah, I mean, it makes the regular season matter. I mean, there's no, you have to focus on the regular season because if you have a bad, like, there's only 38 games in their season. If you had a bad 10 games, you're in deep trouble. Right. And like it's tough. And to get back into the Premier League, the championship is actually 42 games, so it's a lot more teams and.
Mm-hmm. What's that? The league right below the Premier?
EPL, yeah.
Nice. All right. So, who's coming up? Any old teams from the past that made it back up?
I
didn't look.
Can't remember. Sheffield United, who was up 2 years ago, went down.
Yeah.
Is back up. Team I don't know much about, Luton Town.
Don't know that. I've never known them to be up since I've been paying attention.
And then Burnley. Burnley has been down. Has been up and back up again.
Yeah.
Burnley will be good. Burnley used to play just like long ball, old school English soccer. Now Vincent Kompany, who used to be the Manchester City captain, is their manager, and they play real pretty soccer, very Pep Guardiola-esque looking soccer.
Like it. Yeah, so a couple of important national team players, U.S. national team players, play for Leeds United, who got relegated. Most importantly is Brendan Aronson, and I saw an article where he is probably going back to Germany to play for a team.
He is.
He's there in the Champions League, I believe.
Yeah, he's going to Eintracht Frankfurt.
Nice.
I would say more importantly than him, you have two other ones that are our starting center mids, Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie are both still on the Leeds.
You think they'll get out of there?
They need to. Tyler Adams especially. Tyler Adams is
he's a beast.
Yeah, he belongs in the Premier League.
He's kind of the heart and soul of our
he's our captain.
Of our national team, yeah.
Yeah. He needs to get out
of our captain.
Yeah,
so what else in the soccer world, Jameson?
Well, Gold Cup going on right now. U.S. qualified for the quarterfinals. It's our B team. And honestly, like
MLS team, basically.
The strides we've made in the last 5 or 6 years, national team-wise, are astronomical, in my opinion. Because if we would have rolled out a B team 4 years ago, we would have lost 3 games. Now we won 6-0, 6-0, tied Jamaica 1-1 on the first game. But, I mean, we talked about it last time. Beating Mexico pretty consistently is one of the highlights of my life.
Me too. It is. It just makes everything better when
Shout out to Manuel Rangel.
Yeah, when we're better than Mexico. Mexico, please.
Mexico lost many times.
They lost to
Ball State to me when Manuel and Rangel and I played FIFA.
Sega FIFA?
Sega or Nintendo 64.
And then a week or two, Women's World Cup, right?
Correct.
I'm actually pretty excited about that. Just, I don't know, national team, women's soccer. I like it. I like to watch it. It's one of the women's sports that I actually really enjoy watching. Tennis, soccer, college softball. Hey-o.
Yeah, Women's World Cup team. Women's World Cup team this year is young. It's turned over. There's only like 3 remaining ladies from the last 2 winners we've had.
Is Morgan still on the team?
Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe, and 1 or 2 others. But a lot of young ladies on the team. Dennis Rodman's daughter.
Really?
Yep, she's on the team. She's nasty too.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
I don't think they're really good friends, but it is his daughter.
Everyone hates their father.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, Jameson's burning desire.
Cool.
Soccer.
Cool.
Cool beans.
Wow. That's awesome.
All right, guys.
What a
Danny
run.
Flanders
Alrighty then.
on mic 2.
Came in super hot there. So, Barry, do you have a burning desire?
I misread the text thread
Yeah.
when you guys were talking about burning desires, so my mind went in a completely different direction. But
Ended up watching porn for 2 hours.
well, that was inevitable. But yes.
Research development.
I will defer my burning desire to potentially some Purdue football or basketball down the road.
Okay.
Maybe some upcoming
Pull her
concerts.
up.
How about just
Hammer
give me 30 seconds burning desire on your feeling about your big center coming back on your basketball team, Evie?
Zach.
Can't hurt. I mean, you know.
Were you ready for him to go, or are you glad he's coming back?
I'm glad he's coming back. I mean, I was, if you would have gone, it would have been understandable and would have been fine. But let's run it back one more time, see what happens.
Yeah.
First round flame out.
Oh my God.
Potentially, yes. But
I wish we would have been doing this pod when that happened.
I don't think Barry would have showed up for a month.
I think it took me about 3.5 days to recover from the amount of beer that I drank that night to
drown your sorrows.
Exactly.
Are they probably the most
Frustrating.
codependent you are on a team currently?
Oh, it's them or the Pacers. I mean,
Yeah.
not once have a basketball championship visited this house, so it's got to be one of those two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You've always hated the Indiana Hoosier fans saying banners. We got the
1984
banners.
87, Keith Smart.
Keith Smart, guys.
I love it when a 28-year-old starts talking about banners. you were -12 the last time they won, bro. The best is the Notre Dame IU reversible jackets. I love IU basketball, Notre Dame football.
Is that a real thing?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It is a real thing. I mean, it's a lot of myth, it's legend, but it's real. I'm sure there's a reversible Notre Dame IU jacket out there.
Should be.
You could probably make some.
What was your thing there? That IU Notre Dame dual fandom?
Yeah.
IU basketball, Notre Dame football.
That's me, bro. I mean that.
Yeah.
That is.
Whoa.
Me.
Why don't you root for Notre Dame basketball? Because they're no good.
Yeah,
Why don't you root for IU football?
I do root for IU football big time. I love IU football. They suck though. I mean, there's just not a ton. Like when your biggest aspiration is to make a bowl game that is sponsored by like
Frito-Lay.
Yeah, right. Or
The
That's a good bowl, isn't it?
Idaho Potato Bowl.
The Detroit Motor City Bowl. We're going to
Yes,
Detroit.
Sick.
Yes.
What a great way to spend your winter, Detroit.
no, our grandpa Alderson, God rest his soul, it was a big Notre Dame fan, and so that's kind of where we came into that naturally. Grandpa Alderson was Notre Dame guy.
Yeah, I'm Illinois basketball, Notre Dame
That's
football.
just
They
weird,
don't make
bro.
that jacket. Is it? I mean, you
Kind
and
of
Dad
is.
and your stupid IU fandom
Yeah.
drove me away from the Hoosiers. So
He would.
I do respect that.
Well, it's from Nancy. Like he would sit on Nancy's lap and she'd
yes,
brush his hair
yes.
when he was little.
Go Illini.
Yeah.
We love the Fighting
They had
Illini.
like a special brush made out of whalebone.
Yes,
Kendall Gill is our hero.
yes. Love me some Kendall Gill, Nick Anderson, Marcus Liberty. What?
Oh my God.
D Brown.
Well, all right. My burning desire is Wimbledon started Monday, and I love, man, probably one of my favorite things in the world right now is to wake up early, have coffee, and watch tennis. Like I love watching men's and women's tennis, and so I'm super stoked this week to just kind of watch Wimbledon. Specifically, Novak Djokovic is just so phenomenal. He's got 23 Grand Slam titles, which passed Nadal, who's got 22. Federer was just on center court today. They honored him at Wimbledon. He's got 20. And do you know who the all-time majors winner is for the U.S., Jameson?
Pete Sampras.
Wow. Well done, sir.
Come on, bud.
Well
I
done.
grew up watching Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi.
Yeah.
Barry is a big Pete Sampras guy. I know that.
Is he?
He's currently done something to his headset where he
Yeah.
can't figure it out. Bless his heart.
Flip
Spin it the other way.
Yeah.
There
oh
you
my God. This
go.
is like
Let me have that before you break that.
It's like watching the video where the monkey's got his hand stuck in the hole and won't let go.
Chinese finger cuff
Yeah.
monkey. What did you do here?
There we go. That's great podcasting right there, boys.
It is. It's the play-by-play of my
So,
headphones being
Did
fixed.
Did you know who the American
online.
best American tennis player ever male was?
Who the best ever?
As far as winning majors.
Well, Jameson said Pete Sampras.
Yeah, that's it. That's correct.
But
Did you know that?
Andre Agassi was he was the sexy
He was
one.
the Flash.
He's tied for second. There's 3 Americans
That surprises me.
tied for
He
second
wasn't that good,
with
really.
with 8. Can you name those 3?
Agassi.
Uh-huh.
Jimmy Connors
Yes.
and John McEnroe.
Nope. McEnroe
it's,
has 7.
Is it Andy Roddick?
No.
No.
Michael Chang.
Michael Chang was decent.
No way.
Arthur Ashe had 3. Courier had 4. They've got Yvonne Lendl listed as an American. Is that right?
Probably naturalized.
Yeah. Okay.
He is not an American. So
Right.
No, he was not.
Anywho, Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, 23, 22, and 20. We're just in this, just coming out of this golden era of tennis, and I love it. I appreciate it. It's so fun to watch. The women's. Do you know who the leading majors winner is for women's tennis?
Or is that some kind
Let's
come
call
on.
them Grand Slams. Sorry.
Come on, dude.
Yeah. Who is it?
Serena.
No, it is not Serena. I thought that too.
Steffi Graf.
And I looked it up today. No, it's
Martina Navratilova.
Court. Her name is
Margaret.
Yes. Margaret Court. She's got 25. Serena's got 24, which is I bet Serena hates that.
I don't even know who Margaret Court is.
It's from the 1930s or 40s.
She's isn't she Australian?
Hmm.
Don't know. Anywho, last thing about tennis.
Anywho.
If you don't watch tennis, check it out. But there's a kid coming up. His last name is Alcaraz, and just electric. Yeah, right there. Alcaraz gets 30th career major match win. But he's kid. I think he's 19 or 20, and when he's on the screen, man, I just cannot take my eyes off of it. It's amazing. He's incredible. So check him out.
Hard man crush.
Yeah, for real. I just ordered a card of his, a rookie card. That I just added to my collection. It's super
Tennis
stoked
cards,
about.
huh?
Yeah, it's a nice card. It's a 1 out of 2,000. 2,000. Yeah. Anyway, so the last segment that we'll do in most given weeks is what we decided was called. No one cares about your fantasy team.
Yeah, exactly.
Go fantasy football.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the old RFL, which is the Roadie Fantasy League, the league we've been in for how many years is it now? 27?
28, I think.
This would be 29.
Yeah.
Is it
'Cause,
29?
Yeah, we talked about Vegas for year 30 draft.
So we'll just do a quick
so let's
rundown.
just talk about Vegas.
Are we going to Vegas?
For year 30, sure. It's a year from now.
I'm in for that.
I think so.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Has to be a kid-free weekend,
So
as we know.
if you hate our fantasy league and don't care about it, now's the time that you turn off the podcast, and we appreciate you listening.
If your name is McDermott, Connolly, Tatro, CPL, now thank you for listening to all this garbage. Now we're finally talking to you.
Right. And oh yeah, Phil, sorry that we didn't have more gambling talk. That's coming next week.
Next
I promise. Hashtag foreskin. So draft order was finally drawn, and here it is, folks. Number 1 pick this year, Cobra Kai's Mike Lowry. Number 2, the Predators, Phil Connolly. Number 3, well, what do you have the 3rd pick, or what's the deal here?
No, I do not have the 3rd pick. That would be
That's the trade.
Bradley Wayne Schaefer's pick.
Okay, so Brad now has the 3rd pick in the first round. Devo McDermott, the Jedi Beyond Jedi, has the 4th pick. Your host and 2020 champion, White Fox, has the 5th pick. The Mavericks, I can't even tell what his name is there. He has the 6th pick. Brain Damage, pick 7. Or no,
A.K.A. Barry.
Barry, pick 7. This is so confusing.
How is it confusing?
Just like as I'm reading this, I realize like
They just
only
swapped picks,
Very
bro.
simple.
only if you're in this league does anyone even care about this. Hova's got number 8, number 9, Danny McDermott, number 10, CPO, number 11, Tommy Tatro, number 12, Ms. Wiki, number 13, Jameson. How did you end up with only the 13th pick? That's scandalous. And number 14, Josh Weaver. Thoughts, prayers, go.
If
Let's-
I'd rather be 13 than the dead middle. Personally, that's just me.
I'm ready to mock draft. Who wants to mock draft?
I'm not
Number
ready
one.
to-
now.
I'm not ready to mock draft.
Jamar Chase.
Yeah,
I'm ready to mock draft it right now.
Number
boys.
2, Justin Jefferson.
Nailed it.
I do have in the notes. I do have actually the list up of this year's top picks.
So who do you think looks good at 5, Danny?
Yeah, that's a good question, Barry. I'm glad you asked. Let me pre-roster bait here. I'm I'm probably leaning towards Bijan Robinson, quite honestly.
Bijan.
What do you think about that?
Sneaker.
Total sneaker.
Why did you trade? Tell us about your trade with Big Brain.
I acquired a 7th round pick and flopped 1st and 2nd round. So
Very Kevin Pritchard of you.
yes, it was shrewd.
Very
That's
shrewd.
The word I like to use, shrewd. It was
This
a
is
shrewd
the
move.
annual Barry Brad trade.
Right, the only one we ever make, because then once the season starts, then I can't take it anymore.
You want to make a trade?
Oh, try being in a baseball league with the guy. I'm like, this is the
God.
last one I'm making, Brad. Do not text me again. I don't want to make any more baseball trades.
Really? Is it just every day?
Consistently, yes.
Who's little side note? Baseball. Like, I'm not really into baseball much, but man, there's this Ellie De La Cruz for the Reds has just captured my imagination, bro. Anybody down to take a roadie to Cincy to watch his kid play?
If they're playing the Pirates, I'm down.
Hey now, do you know who I'm talking about, Jameson?
Shohei?
No, Ellie De La Cruz.
Oh, no, I don't want. Baseball's not my jam.
This kid, telling you, Ellie De La Cruz.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Go baseball.
The Reds had a 13-game win streak just a couple week or two ago, something like that.
Yeah, if that, I mean,
Yeah, they're tied with Milwaukee at the top of the Central right now. I'm weirdly finding myself like interested in the Reds this year. It's weird because that was my childhood team.
it's funny how you find yourself interested in them when they're at the top
Top
of the
of the division.
standings. I weirdly
I'm
myself
weirdly
interested
following
in
the
Reds
first place
this
team
year.
Reds.
No, here's the path of interest. To be honest, is it's with cards again. I sent an LED. I had no idea who this kid was. Keep in mind, send a card in to get graded to PSA. It was an auto. I pulled it out of a box. It was an autographed De La Cruz card, a nice card. At the time, it wasn't worth shit because the kid was a prospect. And it comes back. It's a PSA 10. So now I'm like, I start seeing these headlines coming through on ESPN. Ellie De La Cruz, you just start seeing this kid's name everywhere. Starting on the card reports where it says, what's the hottest card? Ellie De La Cruz. So I'm like, I look and I pull that card out. I look it up, and that card's selling for like $1,200 right now. So I'm like, oh, I like Ellie De La Cruz. And so anyway, that's kind of that's the pathway to my newfound Cincinnati Reds Ellie De La Cruz fandom.
Go Reds.
It all is intertwined.
Yeah.
Without Ellie De La Cruz, there's no first place.
Yes. Yeah, no, the kid's hitting for the cycle. He's so fast, like blazing fast. Now that I've said his name, it's the power of attraction. You're going to start seeing and hear about him everywhere.
It's going to be everywhere.
It is. What else, boys?
What else you got?
I am tapped out for this week. Jameson, you have anything else?
No, I think I'm all set.
All right. Well, I'm going to download this onto YouTube and to Apple Podcasts. So if you're listening to one or the other, check it out. And we will start next week talking some NFL. I believe we're going to do a two-parter AFC. We'll do AFC, NFC, and what we're going to do is talk about each division, each team, break it down from a betting angle as far as win totals and conference, who's going to win the conference, how many wins will they get, and then hopefully we'll also in that talk about all the skill players on each team. Sound good?
Deal.
Now is the time on Splacket Finvedance.
Yeah. Tuku, tuku, tuku.
Peace.